we'll just, okay, we're live streaming as well. Good. So yeah, just first and seconder on approval of the agenda as written out here.
So moved.
Thank you, Maureen. My hand is up as well. I think we've got everybody in agreement there. So approved. And then, of course, same thing, adoption of the minutes. Everybody, I hope, has had a chance to go through those. So again, a first and seconder on approval of the adoption of the minutes from our last meeting. And show of hands, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thank you. Perfect. Yay. And any public comments that we know of? Anything coming in? No. We had that fun one from Ron last time. That was a funny one. Good comment. Thank you, Ron, if you're watching. Hello. Action items. Have we got those listed down below, Steph?
Yeah, I've got them up if you want me to.
Oh, here we go. Yep.
Actually, these are quite topic specific. So there's a chunk of them relating to the plaque. So maybe we
Yep.
can go through it when we get to the plaque. Is that okay? We'll save those.
Save those ones. So save the ones specifically for the plaque.
Yeah, when we get to
Yep.
that section of the agenda.
Yep, you bet.
And then there was something about the site visit.
The site visit, right. So number one on me, 1, 2, 3 on me, and also Gillian on third. So I think that item number one about the drilling templates and boards, we can defer until we've had our discussion about timing. I think that's going to be more important. I've got some news related to that. So yes, the slope orientation we've resolved. Yes. Talk to Public Works. I did not. Gillian, did you have a moment to chat with them about possible installation assistance?
But I think, after our meeting, our site visit meeting, and after talking about, we wanted to see our own capacity amongst stuff first before we
Yep.
reached out to them. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, we'll continue with that. And those two bits from Phil were taken care of. So we did that. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the plaque bits for a little bit later then. So everybody's okay with those action items. Got that. So moving on to item 5 there, business arising. So the timing, this is our big question. So Gillian and I have been talking with each other and also with the artists, and also, in consideration of the lovely weather that we get at this time of year, and which is seemingly even worse than typically. The question of timing was brought up amongst us all in terms of the installation. So I'm not going to call it a proposal, but the artists were kind of putting forward the idea of, does it really make sense to install these brand new beautiful panels at kind of the worst time of year and let them sit outside for those winter months, and then try and do a launch in the spring when the weather is turning a little nicer, and that's kind of the question that we need to discuss amongst ourselves. So whether we proceed with installing them now, or not now, but with soon, or we defer the installation date for early spring in preparation for the looming tourist season and the welcoming that period of welcoming people to Bowen, which is a little bit the point of the entryway project for all intents and purposes. So I want to throw that out for open discussion right now for all of us. and I need everybody to weigh in. Nobody can abstain. We need to have a fulsome discussion about this. There's a lot of considerations at play. Storage, safety, keeping them, in good shape in the meantime, whatever the decision might be. So, sorry, I have to turn this heater off. It makes a terrible racket. Okay, sorry. Okay, so anyone, feel free to weigh in with some thoughts, please.
Well,
I'll go for spring.
sorry.
Go ahead, Greta.
I'm sort of with the artists here because it has been so wet and is going to continue to be wet. And I was wondering if we could defer it till springtime, but in the interim, I'm wondering if we could have the panels photographed and that be made public. The reason that we're not putting them up this fall, winter, is because of the weather, and just because I think people are getting a bit antsy about, well, we keep saying it's coming, but we don't really have a firm date. And I just think that if we do decide to defer it, that we need to do some PR around it. And I think showing the general public what the finished panels look like might fill that bill.
Yep, great point. Thank you. Mary Lynn, I think you were.
Yeah, I agree with Greta. I think it would be nicer to do in the spring. Everybody's happier in the spring. Everybody can come out when it's a nice day, and all the the flowers are coming up and everything. It just feels if we did it now, it'd be kind of anticlimactic. I think. I don't know that I agree about sharing the images ahead of time though, because I think it'd be nicer to have it as a surprise. But I do agree that we need to do some communication and say, like, everything's ready. We're just gonna wait until the weather's nicer.
Okay, sure.
This is ideation. We're
just
not running everything off the table. Sorry.
Just to play devil's advocate, because I
Go for
actually do agree that we do wait. But this, like you say, Scott, the safety storage of the panels. And I understand from the artists that they, the weather may play a factor in the installation, but these panels have got to live out in the winter anyway. So I don't know if there's a really good reason to wait. I mean, we kind of need something bright and cheerful to look forward to for the winter.
Okay. Yeah, right.
So that, I can go either way, but I get waiting till the spring because we all wait for the spring. But yeah, anyway, those are my thoughts.
Good, thank you. Anyone else who have we not heard from? Gillian, you wanna, what are you thinking?
Maureen had her hand up.
Oh, did she? Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't see you, Maureen. Where?
No worries.
Sorry.
I am in here.
Sorry, Maureen.
Little
Okay,
voice
yeah,
of
I
the
just needed to get that screen a tad wider for you.Hank you. Okay. Go ahead.
I also agree with waiting until the spring. And as Jami mentioned, I think it does raise some questions though about the sturdiness of the installation itself. One thing that might help in terms of sort of mitigating some of the questions that might come up is that we've also talked about the landscaping above the lock wall and how it looks awful, a lot of the time. If we were to be asking about could there be a bit of a landscaping job done, which would sensibly take place in the early spring. So to tee up landscaping and the mural installation together. You
Mhm.
wouldn't want to be doing landscaping over, like any major landscaping, over top of an installed mural.
Absolutely. Yeah, a good point there for sure.
So if we can get a bit of landscaping done up there, then I
Right.
think it makes our decision that much more sense.
Yep.
And just on that note, I think I'll have to check and find out, is that actually municipally owned land up top there? I'm not sure who owns that land
Hmm.
and who would be responsible for that landscaping.
I'm pretty sure that it is municipal.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Bonnie would probably know, because when we were doing the Snug Cove improvements working group, we had an assessment done of all of that and the trees. And it was definitely on the municipality to deal with the trees that were potential dangers. Ultimately, there weren't any that were dangerous, but we had to have the arborist do the work. But Bonnie could confirm.
Okay. From my
With
end,
the-
oh,
sorry,
sorry.
Scott. Well, just with the messaging, because people are anxious to see this project. We've been promoting it, and so maybe it's messaging like, well, we're waiting to landscape first, and then we'll install the panels. That might be a good sort of solid message to send out there. Instead of, we just want to wait till the spring because it's prettier. Yeah.
I think I may be a little bit different to everybody else, because I'm leaning towards installing now, because of what Jami said about, we need something bright and cheerful and wonderful happening now. Spring is when we're all excited anyway. The weather's fabulous, things are blooming, and we all get excited. Now it's dreary and and the beautiful brightness and joy that this installation will bring, I think, would actually be well received throughout the winter.
Very true. I
definitely would go with the common thought and thread from the committee, but I do. We prepped them for this installation, and we all along thought it would be now that we were doing it. So. I think I am a bit of a voice for current install.
Yep. You know what? Absolutely valid. This is what we need to do here. We need to look at both of these options. There's definitely, like, the emotional kind of component that I think everybody's touching on that. Are we sad, or are we happy in the spring, or whatever? There's the logistics, of course. There's a lot of different factors, but I think you raised a very good point, Gillian, about that we're not that far off of our potential timing date that we were talking about earlier in the summer, and I do think I don't think installing by the end of October is at all feasible. But we don't necessarily need to be that far off that mark. So there are a couple big considerations about that. So one of them is that none of the panels have got a clear coat on them yet. We were delayed with it was on me to get some material to them. They ran out of suitable time, weather, location availability, that kind of thing, for that application. So we're just so everybody is up to speed, all the panels are being moved to my studio, actually tomorrow. So it's obviously a warm, dry space. There were increasing numbers of edge issues, delamination, that sort of thing, that need to be addressed as well. So there is a fair amount of work that still needs to be done. I can't take it on all myself. We do need to organize a group or whatever, a work party for some of it for sure. The edges need to be, all the edges that are proving problematic need to be fixed prior to any other work being done. And then of course the clear coat would have to be put on all the panels front and back, edges siliconed after that, and then the top edges, the trim put on for that. And drilling, we'd have to drill them. So there's a fair amount of work to do. Now, the other question, of course, is storage. They can't stay in my space for the whole winter. And so we would need to figure out a suitable alternate location for them, assuming they were all done, the repairs and the clear coat and all the rest, so that they were ready to go. They were outdoor worthy. Where are they going to go in the meantime? So that's not an answer. I don't know what facilities the Muni might have available that won't risk damage to the panels in the interim. So yeah, that could be also a very strong vote in support of getting them up sooner rather than later, rather than risk damage to them in the meantime while we're waiting. So,
Hey, Scott, how long, once you, I guess everything's done, like the clear coating and the protection, how long does it take to dry, like properly, solidly dry before being out in the weather?
24 hours is
Really?
adequate.
That's
Yep.
enough? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
for sure. In a warm space. I mean, obviously, if we were doing it outdoors, it could be days and days. But
Okay.
yeah, in a suitably dry, reasonably warm space, 24 hours is
Okay.
certainly adequate. Yeah, and I know we will easily achieve that. They can be stacked with separations and carefully put aside. There's the cure, there's the final cure, but there's also the set time, and set time allows you to, move them around without damage, but they're not technically fully cured until like a 24 or 48 hour. It depends on the product, but I think it's about 24 hours in good conditions.
I think I will speak up
Hey,
and now
Phil.
vote. Hey, I
Hi.
will vote for a winter install. For no particular reason except to just try and live up to what we promised, and maybe there's some advantage. Maureen, you might know if we get it up before the end of the calendar year, so it can go up on some kind of list of achievements, rather than just a committee that didn't do anything for a year.
I don't think you should worry about that. I don't think
Okay.
that should be a factor.
Okay. And I'm sorry I came in late, so I'm going to ask this question that was probably already answered. What do the artists want?
Gillian, what do you think?
They're the ones that initiated this conversation, quite honestly. They are requesting a spring install.
Okay, cool.
Were they
I would
requesting?
defer to them.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. Yes, Phil, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
That's okay. I would change my vote then to defer to them.
And what are their good reasons for waiting? Is it
It's
just 'cause of the
concern about the winter damage to the panels.
Yeah, but like I say,
They're up for
that
several
they should-
years. So.
they've got to be used to the weather. They're going to hit the winter at some point. It could be this
Exactly.
winter or next winter, but I get it. They've spent a lot of time on creating these beautiful panels. I get it. I would be hesitant too.
I mean, we get rain in the spring too.
Yeah.
Could I just add another little component here? We wanted to have kind of a launch party, and gosh, we're going to continue having these rain monsoons that we've been having. I just can't imagine having some kind of a outdoor event to unveil these beautiful panels, because nobody's going to turn out.
Yeah, it's a good. Who wants to go outside in this weather? That is also a good point. Not only weather, because of the weather issues, but also, I don't know that we've really moved anything forward on the discussion of what the launch celebration, for lack of a better term, is. And that's a really, this is a really big opportunity for us as a committee to make a big splash with this major achievement in a fairly short period of time through a pandemic. I think we all need to recognize that there's a lot of external pressures and situations that make a difficult job even more so. And there is still a fair amount to do, not just to the panels themselves, but we don't have a promotion plan. We don't have any work going yet. We've talked about it, but we don't have anything happening on the ground in terms of like ideas of what to do as a celebration involving the community, whether we're tagging on to something else that's going on as well. I know that discussion came up. I don't remember what it was connected with at the moment, but so these are all a bunch of things that I know can't happen in a week or a few weeks or a month. So thinking about that, even if we said, okay, even if we were to pursue this and try and get all this work done on the panels and all the signage and the rest of it, like the earliest we'd probably be looking at being ready would be, I would say, early December would be the safest bet. So now we're really into the dark days. So yeah, those are my 2 cents.
I did have a meeting with the Sangria de Fruta to talk to them about the celebration. I just wanted to get their thoughts on what they'd like to see and be part of it, make sure that they're part of the planning.
Absolutely.
And of course they were grateful and they said, yes, absolutely. We'd love to be part of it. I did mention, no, she did. She mentioned about the light up weekend and said, why don't we backpack or tag on to already the festivities in the Cove, maybe not necessarily the light up night, but maybe the Christmas craft show, which is the Sunday after the light up day. Can't think of the dates offhand, but anyway, they were kind of keen on that. But Scott, considering how much has to be done yet, I think that would be a push.
Right.
To get.
I also
to that
think
weekend.
we talked briefly about that, teeing up with the light up the Cove, and I think somebody mentioned quite astutely that most of the activity is starting up in Artisan and then winds its way down and trying to tee up. By the time it gets down there, it's also a nighttime event, so we wouldn't really be celebrating much about the murals or seeing much with murals in a nighttime event on that one. Did we talk about that a little bit? I recall that we did, right? Yeah,
we did. Yeah, I think I mentioned that, like, if we do that, if we team up with them, then we should do the panels before it gets dark, which means like 3 o'clock probably, right? At
the latest, yeah.
And then everybody has to go from down at the Cove all the way up to Artisan Square, because that's where everything starts up there.
Right.
But I've heard that it actually doesn't start up there. I've heard that it starts in the parking lot by the pharmacy.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
Anyone just start up at Artisan Square?
Yeah,
I think
it varies from year to year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I've heard this year that it's from the parking lot at the pharmacy down to the sort of ferry area. Or
there's no confirmation on what light up Bowen looks like this year at all.
Right. And I've talked to Basha a couple times, but yeah, she's very vague about it as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just a thought that, tagging on to a big weekend of festivities might help. But anyway,
it's a great idea. No, it is.
It's too quick. I don't think that we'll be ready to launch this.
I feel like that would be a big rush.
One of the other pieces we all recognized at our last meeting as well was that, we actually need fun, festive events on this island in the winter. So, tagging on to another one we had to do. And the reality is that people pretty unlikely that people come down to see the mural during light up Bowen in the dark when the kids just want to see Santa. There's cookies and mulled wine over there, and they're just not going to. I just don't think people would come down to the site.
Yeah, it won't be the draw that we would want to be able to thank everyone properly and give a round of applause and a speech and an explanation about what we did and everything. It's really true. So maybe for us it's a standalone event for us and the celebration would, but again, we need to get it out through our social media channels, through the undercurrent on the BIM website, like all of these channels. It will need somebody's effort and work and time to make them happen properly. And we don't have a date yet. And if we set one now, that is like, anytime, I think within the next 6 weeks, we would be putting our backs up against a wall to make it all happen.
I think then we're in the Christmas season. And so, yeah.
Christmas holidays, that's maybe not a bad point. Sorry, Marilyn, I think you put your hand up there.
Yeah, and I just lost what I was going to ask. It'll come back.
Okay. So, I mean, I think there's been really good points raised on both sides. Yes, go, please.
The plaque.
Yep.
I know we have to have a discussion about the plaque, but I think we should have the plaque completed at installation time. Don't you think?
Yeah.
By the time we install. And then there was a second thing, Greta mentioned getting the panels photographed. That we want that to happen before they get installed, right?
Yes, I think that would probably be a great idea. Yeah, totally.
And have we talked to like John Smith about that, or did we have any plans for that yet?
No,
I don't know anyone who photographs art.
What's that?
I don't know anyone who photographs art for a living.
John Smith does wedding. Oh, you're being facetious, aren't you?
A little bit. I know Scott does. Sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, that may, though they're in my studio, we'd have to discuss about a conflict of interest on that. I'm not. That's not something I would. I feel like I would be doing enough in support of the project already without taking on a photo doc for no remuneration, which then sets up conflict of interest. So we could certainly work with John if he was willing to do that. He's about the only guy I know on the island. And I've got a decent enough space that he could actually work in there.
So is that an action item then?
I think we should make it an action item. It's photographing them is an important part of this whole project, and it should definitely be done. I mean, obviously we want to install photographs. We want it shown in situ. But individual shots of each of the panels is going to be very useful for us for all kinds of publications, publication possibilities in the future, and the artists as well. And
and also if we do want to do like silly things like greeting cards or sell prints at the gallery, right?
Absolutely.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We need to
name on that.
Sorry, two of you were speaking.
Sorry, Mary Lynn's name on that action then? Will you contact John Smith?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
And so precisely what is the action item? Finding somebody to do it, or like we didn't put budget on this piece of it. So is this, we're looking for someone to volunteer to do this? And I think this would have to happen, probably after the clear coat goes on, in terms of them, like what's the easiest way to get it done?
Does the clear coat have a gloss to it?
Nope, it's matte.
Okay.
I mean, there's going to be inherent reflections in the material, but it's not a lighting disaster that gloss would be. Yeah.
Could I just ask, the original proposal from the artist included documenting the project and creating community communication materials. would this be part of their responsibility to document?
We need to look back on that contract then.
Yeah.
I don't believe it was in the contract that this was their responsibility. It's something that they wanted to do, but also for potential further application down the road. So for example,
Gotta go, guys.
once it was installed, we could direct people to where some additional information was housed, but it wasn't a requirement. But Sarah and I have been working together to do that photo documentation that we have to date, and that we've used in our communications, in our, the Facebook posts and on the website. And
Okay, so that was sort of a different kind of photographic record.
Yeah.
Okay, Thank you. Thank you. I mean, for me, the kicker is that artists are feeling really uncomfortable at this point. And it sounds as though the bulk of the work has to be done by someone other than the artist. It sounds like it's fallen onto your shoulders, Scott. And I mean, who does the work that remains to be done is my question.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I mean, it does. Some of it is falling to me, for sure. I offered up my studio space as a stopgap measure for them needing to get it out of wherever they're storing it all, and also with the idea that we don't want to move them around too much, and we do need to get some protective coating on them before much else happens. So. Like I say, I think it would be great if we could organize some kind of work party in my space where we can actually get it takes two people to handle the panels at the least, right? Nobody can do it by themselves. So and there's all these stages where they need we could probably do work on two at a time, but they're going to need drying periods, and then they can be leaned up, and then the next ones can be done, but we have to do both sides, and again the edging needing repair, all that. So I'm not exactly sure how to handle that without making making a couple of us cranky with all the extra work that really if we were being honest about it, this is work that would kind of be either on the shoulders of the artist, or something we would like hire somebody out to kind of do as a contract work in a professional capacity to get it done to a point where it's like ready to go. Obviously, I'm willing to do some work, and I want to see this project happen as much as all of us. So if there's some way of balancing out this, a certain group of tasks that can be handled by some extra volunteer hours from us as the committee, but maybe bringing some people in from the outside, whether they're from the municipality or volunteers. I don't know that we haven't asked Di and Sarah and Paula if they would be interested and able to help out. I think they might be. They were just, what they got caught up with was the accessibility of a space that would be suitable for putting on any clear coats. It wasn't that they weren't that they didn't want to help or actually do that work. It was that they couldn't physically do it with what they had available to them. So that's another option, is to say, okay, well, listen, let's make a Saturday work party. Everybody come on in. If we had 6 of us handling different aspects of it, I think it could, move along quite well.
Well, I'm on your side, Scott. I'm happy to help out, whatever you need.
Okay, awesome.
Count me in. Yeah.
So I think maybe sorry, Greta, go ahead.
Maureen, you said the artists were feeling a bit uncomfortable. What are they uncomfortable? What aspect? Are they?
I haven't spoken with the artist, but from what I gathered from what Scott said, they were uncomfortable with launching soon.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry. I
That's all. Yeah.
just jumped to a erroneous conclusion. Sorry.
No, not at all. There's a lot of moving parts here. But I think I would defer that one over to Gillian. I think Gillian's had more conversation with the artist directly about how they're feeling. Can you speak to that, Clarity?
Not really. It's just
No?
brief email, and really it was just about the weather and the effect of the weather on the panels, and could we increase the longevity of the installation by just waiting a little bit past this rougher season of weather. So
Right. Yeah, we know that they would have to survive a number of winters, but do we start at the hardest point of the year? Okay, yeah.
Hey, Scott, when do you need them out of your studio space?
Yeah, good question. I think they could stay there. They could stay there till probably end of December. But I am actually going to be moving out of there. So that's not public knowledge at this point. So if everybody can just keep that to themselves, I will be moving out of there in the new year. So they can't stay there for much beyond that.
So maybe we think about early January to launch the project. So they go from your studio right to the wall. If we can drag it out to the very end of the year, Scott, and then and then January, it's exciting. January is kind of dreary because everyone's broke. They've spent way too much money.
And quitting smoking.
It might be a good time and sometimes January weather's not so bad. It's not the stormy month. February is. Well, at least in the Kootenays it is, but I don't know, maybe it's, Christmas is over and everyone's looking for a reason for some color and celebration.
Yep, there's lots of ways that we can make that appealing for sure.
Okay, so I'm
Just
making
if we could stay in your studio until then, that's the big question.
I think that will be fine. Yeah, I'd be, they would be safe there for sure, and not too much in the way.
And that way we don't have to move them twice.
Yep. Sorry, Greta, did you have another thing that I
was just thinking that in order to move this forward, we're going to have to come up with a date so planning could begin. But if we have to take them out of your studio by the end of December, I don't actually think that we could install them right at the beginning of January, could we? I take Jamie's point there. We don't want to move them twice, but I'm not sure that it's actually going to work that well. So I guess I'm looking for a definitive date. We're going to do this on blah, blah, blah date.
Yeah.
Well, I
I'm
think
not sure how to answer that question right now.
Yeah, well, I think that's up to us to decide. That's what we all need to try and do here. So I do like the idea of a January installation. I think it's a nice, fresh way to start the new year. I think we could do all the pre-drilling and get all the fasteners, everything ready to go between now and then. I do want us to circle back to like looking amongst ourselves for how we build that support team for getting the work done. And that was our next item on the agenda anyway. So, we will be coming back to that, because although this is an advisory committee, I'm really hoping that we can all, as many as possible, step up and help Scott there with that, because, or reach out to volunteers that we may think might be willing, maybe through the Hearth, there's some volunteers, maybe We can ask the community if they want to get involved a little bit, and the artists could ask some of the artists that were involved painting if anyone wants to help with that. I think there's ways.
Yeah, there definitely. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm also kind of cognizant of the fact that, you know, it's my space. It's a private space. I don't want like a circus of the general public coming and running through everywhere. I've got a lot of sensitive stuff in there. So it would have to be kind of carefully orchestrated, and perhaps the best thing to do first out of the gate is connect back with the artists and say, okay, you know, given the situation, you know, if we could, you know, between the three of them and, you know, 3 or 4 of us, or 2 or 3 or 4 of us as additional volunteers, extra pairs of hands to get in there and take care of some of that work. That might be the best route for now, and then see how far we get along with that. So I think an action item, Steph, you'll put on me. I'll reach out to the artists. Gillian and I can continue a conversation with them about their involvement going forward about the panels at my space, and then we'll kind of sort out from there. We will need. Sorry, Gillian, you said this was the next thing on the.
Sorry, Scott, you're going to talk to the artists about
helping us out. Yeah, because it would have been like, it technically, like I said, it would have been on their plate if they hadn't run out of a suitable space to actually work on it.
Right.
So I think, you know, they probably are half expecting that and would, I'm sure, be willing to do it. It's not a huge onerous deal, but it's just, you know, it's awkward with just 1 or 2 people. You're gonna, you know, it's physical work.
And knowing artists and the amount of work that they've put into it, they probably want to have a hand in protecting them.
I would think,
I think
so.
they would take it very seriously, I would think.
Yes, they would. Yeah. None of them are like, okay, we're done now. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
You know? So let's start with that, and then we can reach out from there accordingly, depending on how things play out. There was one other action out of that.
Set a date?
The date.
So it's January 8th is a Saturday. Is that too early in January?
Yeah, people are going to be away on vacation
Yeah.
or whatever, and maybe not as available as we might hope over
So
the
15.
holidays, because the install is going to take us a good week, I'm sure, because it's well, it depends on how many people we have. Gillian's got a really great contact she told me about, so we're going to hopefully rely on a skilled set of hands, and myself and Phil also working on that. So 8th might be a bit ambitious.
So like 15th. I'm going on weekends. 15th.
Yeah.
Say weeks. 15th to
22nd. That's not bad. Middle of January.
I think the 22nd is, I don't want it to be pushed for time. You got to allow for some glitches to show up.
Oh, none of those. That doesn't happen.
There will be.
Okay.
So
So the
say
15th to the
that the
27th is on the board for a selected date of launch.
Okay. So
I'll probably be away for a few weeks in January, just so you know.
Okay.
But you don't need me.
Yes, we absolutely need you from the Hearth as part of this.
Mhm.
And the launch event, absolutely.
Yeah, that's my only time to take a break. So I will definitely be breaking.
Okay. Yeah.
we
As you
just lost
should.
our launch party subcommittee.
Yeah.
Greta,
Right.
It's all on you now.
Greta's on her own.
When are you back, Jami? What would be like your first?
I don't know. I don't know exactly, but it will be sort of around the 8th to the end of the month kind of thing,
8th to the end
Probably
of the
about-
month.
like a 3-week thing.
Right. What's the first weekend in February, stuff?
is.
On Groundhog Day.
There you go.
That's a good one too.
That's a great day because the
Yeah,
groundhog will not see its shadow and spring will start.
And
Not
it's
bad.
flora fauna.
Or in fauna. Oh, uh-oh. Now, I like where we're going with this. Good
Groundhog
conceptual.
Day.
February
And it
5th.
feels like Groundhog Day because we keep talking about the Lock Wall for years.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Oh, again, still, yeah.
That's right. Oh,
So
that's
is
a
that
good one.
February
Last
5th?
Groundhog Day.
That's a good one. Is that the 5th? Is Groundhog Day?
Someone said
I
that.
don't know, but that's a Saturday.
Oh,
Let's look. Okay, let's look at. Is the 5th a Saturday?
Yes.
yes.
So we can say installation the 30th to the 5th with launch party on the 5th.
Yeah.
Are there any sort of internationally or nationally recognized art days in the beginning of the year or themes like that we could align to?
Ooh.
Or any other big installations happening? It's too bad there was that mural festival that just happened. If anybody knows of other stuff going on that we align to.
Make our own day.
Make our own day. Groundhog Day is February 2nd. It doesn't, it's just that it always falls on the 2nd. It has nothing to do with the weekend. So just an FYI on that one. But
Oh, it's National Thank and Mail Carrier Day. It's
Are you
National,
serious?
yeah, National Wear Red Day and World Cancer Day on the 5th.
all
There you
right.
go. At least that's what Google says,
Well, it's going to be National Lock Block Wall Mural Day now. So
right?
yeah. I feel like I'm feeling pretty good about that date. What's everybody's sense on that? Gives us some breathing room. It's
Lay down.
we're gonna it does cause a problem with storage. We'll have to figure out where to put them for a little bit, but hopefully we can just solve that problem. That gives us enough time for promotion, gives us enough time for creating, figuring out what the event is going to be, because that's going to be a big bit of work for our subcommittee on that, for planning and whatnot. So it's enough time, maybe it's not too much time. So
Okay, February the 5th.
Okay, can I get it maybe if you guys okay with it, and just a little resolution voting on resolve to postpone to February 5th lunch? Do that.
and does that require some voting on our parts?
It'd be nice to have a little record.
Yeah, it would, totally. So let's put that out to everybody right now. So voting to make the actual launch date celebration for the Gateway Mural project on Saturday, February 5th of 2022, if we can believe it. So all in favor, show of hands, please. So
And Mary Lynn's
Marilyn is
positive
off.
abstention.
Okay. And have we got Phil still? I didn't see you there. Where's my screen?
Hands up.
Yep, hands up. Thank you. I can't find you. Okay, so resolution. There we
That's
go.
a 1 week installation then?
Let's say that. Yeah, I mean, I hope
Okay.
we can
I'll include that.
it won't actually take a week, but I want to make sure that we've got enough time.
Rain or shine.
The only other point I would make is that 2 weeks later, we have Heritage Week on Bowen, the 22nd, the 21st to the 27th.
What do
What
we do
happens on
on
Heritage
Bowen?
Week?
Yeah, on Bowen.
Yeah, it varies from year to year. Usually there's some sort of online activity. The museum is usually open. The Heritage Museum is usually open. There was a display of the shadow puppet work that Daniela Sorrentino had worked on. There was supposed to be in this coming year some sort of Indigenous focus. I'm not suggesting that we necessarily tee up with it, but it's just it's a thought that's crossing my brain at this point.
It's quite nice. I mean, this is definitely celebrating our natural heritage,
Yeah.
this mural.
I mean, so what would that mean in terms of we've just voted on a time? Sorry.
No, that's okay. We're still in discussion here.
So the
The ink didn't
21st.
dry. The 21st. Is that also a Saturday?
I'm just looking.
No,
It's a Monday.
Monday.
But the heritage activities sometimes are a little on either side of the actual formal week.
Monday that is a family day. It's a stat.
Yeah.
21st,
Oh,
Sorry, which Monday is that?
February 21st.
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 It's National Sticky Bun Day on the 21st.
Even better.
we can serve sticky buns. Is that a cinnamon bun? Is that another thing for a cinnamon bun?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So if we were to align, it would be installation on something like the 19th rather than the 5th. So it does add 2 weeks.
Right. Well, I mean, as I will be involved in installation as well, the further we push it out, the better for me, timing wise. I've got 1.5 million things going on between now and February. So yeah, I would certainly be fine with another postponement for 2 more weeks to that 21st date of February. I don't know. Shall we open up the vote again?
Before we do you
Yeah.
think we would potentially check in with whoever is involved with Heritage Week to see if, would they welcome aspects of this mural launch as part of their celebrations?
Well,
Because
we don't
maybe they
necessarily
don't
need
feel-
to, we don't need to, align ourselves necessarily with whatever they're doing. It doesn't have, it's not like we all have to coordinate.
No, but it would be nice, right? If we're waiting till that date, we would be doing that to align, wouldn't we? Otherwise, why would we wait?
Well, the folks you would check in with would be Sarah Haxby, so for Bowen Heritage, and Kathy Bailey for the museum, and myself and Melissa Harrison for the Municipal Heritage Commission. So you're not going too far afield.
Right.
Yeah. But certainly Kathy and running it by Sarah, I think would be worthwhile if we're gonna consider it.
Okay, have we got enough information, or is this, do we defer the decision about the timing till our next meeting after we have gotten a little
All in
further
favor of
along?
rescinding that resolution?
Yeah, we're gonna
then?
have to rescind. So all in favor of rescinding, show of hands, yes, we'll pull that back off.
Sorry, I pushed that,
No,
I guess.
that's good. Keep it official.
So actions for people to touch base with heritage people for next meeting. So Councillor Nicholson with Melissa and Peter, and Gillian with Sarah and Kathy. Is that okay?
Okay. And that'll give us the next month to get the boards ready. We'll have a better idea of how they sit. That should be completed. And maybe we're feeling better. Maybe we can move things up, or whatever we thought. Yeah, I think that's the best. I think that's the best thing to do right now. How's
then-
everybody thinking about that?
Yeah. So then we would still have to find another storage area, and we have to think of our promo, what we're sharing to the community, what our messaging is.
Yeah. So I think between us, I think we should all I think February sounds like a really good month for everybody, generally. Whether we've got the exact date, no, but February is seems to make a lot of sense, and we're entering into, everybody's feeling a little bit over the hump of winter, and maybe out we go. So let's all hold that that timing in our heads as we move forward. This is going to impact you, Greta, to a large degree as well, with the launch event planning and that sort of thing, promo, all of that needs to be considered. So
and just when I'm thinking about the launch, what kind of a budget are we going to work with? It's a huge thing.
mhm.
Mhm. Well, there is a chance that the Bowen Island Literacy Task Force would help fund the launch, because what we're doing in this case is enhancing cultural literacy on the island. And I think if particularly literacy is defined as building professional, building proficiency, as opposed to books and book literacy. And then particularly if we were to do something on Family Day itself, I think that would be really well received.
And Family Day is
Somebody just said it was the 20,
February 21st.
February 21st, Monday the 21st.
That sounds like a good date, Family Day.
Yeah, it does. We could
For what we're trying to do out there. Family is about community. Family is about bringing people together.
And it's a holiday, so kids are
And it's
not
a
in
holiday.
school.
Exactly.
And it's the Heritage Week, and
There's so many.
all coming together.
That sounds like a good one. Okay.
I'm sure it's somebody's birthday.
Sticky bun in here.
Sticky
buns.
buns. Oh my God.
Monday.
Okay. Good. I think that works. If everybody's comfortable, we'll just defer the decision. I think February 21st, I think for all of us sounds like a good day to aim for. Let's keep that in our proverbial caps. We'll vote on it next meeting after we've gotten things moved a little further along, and we have a bit of a better sense of where we're at with the panels and the artists and everything else. So everybody's okay with that? Yes, great. Okay. We're gonna I'll blast through a couple of these things here. 5.2, I'll work on that. I'll let everybody know. I think, like I said, we'll get the artists involved first. I'm going to reach out to them, and then we'll make a small little team. I'll reach out to all of you. We'll put it out if you're interested and available to help out. We'll find a date that works for everybody, and see who can show up, and not all at once. If you want to just go, it's great if somebody says, "Oh, I can give you an hour or two." Just do a little bit, and then somebody else can take over. That kind of thing would be really nice throughout the day. So I'll work on that. I'll send something out through Steph about some possible dates on that. Recognition plaque. I literally just got some information this afternoon from Sarah about all of the people who were involved. It's not as outrageous as I thought, so that's good in terms of numbers and quantities. So I needless to say, I haven't had a chance to mock up anything for the recognition plaque, but I did have a question for everybody, because what she sent to me was quite elaborate. It wasn't just about recognition plaque. It was also about the how the ideas came about, how the project began, the involvement of the community and all that sort of thing. So it was quite a lengthy, wordy section, which isn't necessarily appropriate for a dedication plaque. But I know we had talked, I think, Jami, you mentioned it, if not others, of course, but the recognition plaque being one thing about all the people involved and just names and thank yous and but then another panel didactic that is sort of talking a little bit more about the larger process. So was everybody understanding those two things, the way I've described them, or is there confusion about that? Does it make sense? Does everybody think that it's a good idea to have a larger didactic explaining stuff? Yeah, okay. Okay, so those are two different things.
Scott,
Then
I
as,
think there's someone wants to talk.
oh, sorry, I don't see it.
Okay.
No fault. Go ahead.
Sorry, it's me, it's Gillian. I think a lot of signage is created for the world, thinking that people want to stand and read things. And quite honestly, people don't stand and read very much. People, I mean, the rule of thumb is no more than 75 words on a sign.
Okay.
It's like, I just no, people don't read.
Yeah.
You know, especially nowadays, everybody just reads snippets and highlights and yeah.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting we don't do it. I just suggest we don't overrate the value and importance of that piece.
I think for historical reasons, it's important to have the story behind it. You know who will read it, though, are the people that participated and their families. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Gillian. You know, nobody has the time to stop and read a big, long description. But I do think for history's sake and for understanding of what the project is, the story is important.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And I don't think anybody's saying that it's not. But Gillian does raise a good point. Possibly, you know, maybe there's a better vehicle available to us to promote or discuss the history and talk about how this whole thing came about than yet another thing mounted on the wall up at the lock block wall. So let's make an action item, Steph. So an action item for the whole committee is to think about alternate possibilities for encapsulating the rationale and the history and the process of the lock block wall mural. And then for myself, I will draft up do the mock-up of just the recognition plaque with the names. And then we can also, and then I'll also between myself and the artists or Sarah who sent the stuff, and Gillian, let's maybe, can I bring you in on this? Let's run some text back and forth based on what Sarah sent me. That might be a good synopsis, because she's included things that maybe we probably wouldn't necessarily want to keep for this purpose, even though it's interesting and good for them as part of their promo, maybe not so much applicable for us. So we'll need to draft some text on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought I was on the action item anyway, so I'd asked Sarah for the same information.
Okay.
And they have confirmed as well that we can use some of that background imagery from the mural as the background for that recognition piece. So we just need to get it in digital form from Dai.
Right. Okay.
Or choose what section we would want, perhaps, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice to fade that out slightly with text over top and to discuss about what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm happy to work with you on that. And yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Have you got that, Steph? Is that enough? Yep. Okay, perfect. So Greta, can I move over to you now with 5.4?
Well, actually, I haven't done anything.
Okay.
You know what? I mean, part of it is as soon as I understood that the artists were asking for deferment, for me, that is, okay, I'm not doing anything until we come up with something. But what I do want people to think about over the next while is what do you envision being incorporated in this launch? Do you like, I'm just going to throw out some ideas and I want people to think about it. I mean, live music? Do you want to have ribbon cutting? Do you want to have speeches? Do you want to have food? Do you want it in the daytime, like at noon, or has to be between ferries? So I'm just I want everybody to think about some ideas that they would like to see incorporated into it. I mean,
How would you, yeah,
obviously we will have to have the ideas of our funders for the project incorporated into it. But I think it's important that we all throw in our ideas as well.
okay, so yes, absolutely. This is very good. What I worry about, just throwing it out there as something to think about, is that actually everybody's busy. It just doesn't ever happen. So can I ask you to create just a short document about with exactly all these things that you said, ribbon cutting or food. I mean, food's the draw. So I think that's a given, but let's put it out there. So make up, with all the potential options that could be on the table for part of that celebration. Also, location is an important one. I know we've talked about the dock or that area by the marina where we've already got food services. So making sure that, are they going to be open on that time and that sort of thing. But give us something as a committee, send us something that we can read, look at, check off, go a yes or no, or X this box, or what would people like to see. And we should also try and narrow down some kind of loose budget that might be available for us to support that event.
Right.
How do we do that?
I don't know about the budget thing, but Gillian had mentioned literacy might be interested, but how much money are they talking about? $150 or $500?
Well, so they said, well, how much do you need? And I said, well, we don't know yet what we're doing. And they said, well, let's put a placeholder at 500.
Okay.
So this is all, it's preliminary. It's not yet approved with them or anything. So it's, yeah.
And if we got anything else, we got anything more in our budget as PAAC to throw at this?
It was not part of the budget that we submitted to council for approval on the project.
Right.
We didn't put anything.
Okay. I wonder is there any way of securing anything else through Bowen Cultural Community grant thing? What if there was a no, I don't know. I'm just throwing things out, but
it'll be part of next year's budget. So if we were to build in
that's a good
component
point.
in the proposed budget for 2022, as well, there is some funding in the proposed budget for the Heritage Commission for Heritage Week. And if this were to take place on February the 21st as a heritage-y event, I think some of that fund could be allocated to the event. And it's more than 500. I can't remember off the top of my head. Steph, do you recall what we had budgeted for Heritage Week?
No, but I can find it.
Okay, thank you.
Just for now, would it be reasonably safe to assume that we could work with something or expect to figure out a way of getting about $1,000 for the event?
I would think so.
Okay. From whatever various sources. So Greta, let's throw that into your document, just so you maybe more for you, but all of us should keep that in mind when we're saying we'd like a jet flyover is not in the cards kind of thing. So I know, sorry.
Sure.
There's also potential.
Go ahead.
I've got $1,000 for a Heritage Week event.
We received funding last year from the BC Parks and Recreation Association for a Family Day event. So that may be an option as well, but they haven't.
See, perfect.
They haven't promoted that opportunity yet, so I don't know.
Okay. I think between all of these potentials, we can get something figured out. It's definitely worthy of a little expense to celebrate this achievement. So for sure, I think we'll get it figured out. So there's your action item. Greta, do you have, is there anything else on that point then at this stage?
No.
Nope. Okay, thank you.
There will
Over to you, Jamie. Oh, sorry.
There'll just be questions for all of you.
Yep, that's all we need. Yeah, a little, some guiding questions. Yeah, there'll be some things for you to sort of investigate as well to, after we've answered our parts, figure out what will be the next steps on that. Sorry, over to you now, Jamie.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you
So
bet.
I do have a couple of updates. We met with the Snug Cove Advisory Panel today to show them the plans and the drawings and the concept of the cultural corner project. And it was pretty positive. We have a couple of small sort of revisions to make on some designs, but generally speaking, the panel was very supportive, and they loved the idea of the cultural corner and finishing off the landscaping project around the library and the Hearth. I'm going to share the screen with you to give you an idea of what the stage itself looks like. This is no one else has seen this, so don't share it with anybody. Don't take any photographs.
Everyone, come on in. Come on.
This is all being live streamed, you remember?
I know.
Oh, frig. I forget that. So maybe I shouldn't share it.
It was already on YouTube an hour ago.
It was. Holy cow.
Which, so you,
All
okay.
that's on YouTube already, Jim.
Oh. Okay. All right, here, I'm going to share it then. That's so funny. I forget that we're being recorded. Oh my gosh. So can you see that image?
Yes.
Great, let me see if I can make it bigger. Bigger. Come on, drag over. Oh, it's very slow. So this is just an image again of the sort of the one space that's out in front of the gallery. So you can see it's kind of like a clamshell shape, an open shape, and it faces towards the front doors of the Hearth.
Mm-hmm.
So, after thinking about this public art project and the work that goes into a public art call out and, all that sort of stuff, and the fact that we've had a couple of locals say, we'd really like to see some Indigenous art as a public art piece. You see the front sort of fascia on the stage, the flat one. We were thinking of maybe having a local Indigenous artist do a carving that will be placed on that fascia across the front of the stage. It would simplify everything. We don't have to it doesn't have to be a call out. It isn't part of our grant. They just have allocated a certain amount of money to pay for that public art piece. And this would keep life simple. It would also honor our First Nations. We'd probably have a Squamish Nations carver to do it, maybe local if we can. And that would be the public art piece.
Mm-hmm. And it would be protected under there as well, I guess. Eh?
Very, yeah.
Yeah.
And so with the Canadian Heritage, there's a grant stream out right now that is for Canada celebrations or Canada celebrations. So it goes from November 21st to July 1st. It includes National Indigenous Day, Canada Day, St. Baptiste Day, and Multicultural Day. And Jen and I, and Gillian's been a little bit part of the conversation. We're going to apply for a grant to do like a 10-day festival to celebrate Canada, with bookmarked from the 21st of June to the July 1st. And we were thinking that on June 21st, we actually would have the carver on that platform under that stage carving as part of that celebration. And then once that carving is done, it would be installed. Yeah, anyway, that's kind of our idea at this point.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Comment.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, right. It so naturally has a good beam there and a wonderful carving. would be great.
Well, I like how it's also addressing the challenging elevation difference that, has been oddly patched with every, improvement in that area up till this point. That design really kind of ties all that in a little bit much more naturally.
It does. Yeah,
Yeah.
with that ramp. The
Yeah.
ramp is for so many different reasons, but a lot of it is accessibility to the stage or the platform.
Mm-hmm. Especially
and
for,
clean-
not only people, but gear and equipment that might need to go down there.
Yeah.
I think it's also great for, the aging in place aspect of Bowen, which, is so often not part of the discussion. That's a great way of allowing people to get in and around easily. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I know that there's a lot of concrete there, but the plan is for landscaping plants, natural planting to soften up that big block of concrete as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what we showed to the advisory panel today, and they seemed fairly happy with it. Yeah, so I guess I'm taking you all off the hook in that I don't need your help to find, what that public art piece is going to be.
I think that's a good call, Jami.
Yeah, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah, I think it'll look lovely, and it will be protected. And vandalism, it would be tough to get up there and vandalize that beautiful piece.
Mm-hmm.
And it may, because we haven't named that stage yet. We don't want to call it a stage. It's a bit of a sensitive word. So having that carving may lead to a name of that space. Something welcoming, or I'm not sure, but I think we will that week of that festival, or that 10-day festival. Maybe that's the time when we'll have a call out to the community to try and name that space.
Have you considered or are you thought about it and avoiding it? One of the things that was happening in the discussions around the lock block wall and the donation from Sangre de Fruta, when that became more public knowledge, I actually fielded a number of calls from local business people saying, what a great idea, what a great opportunity. We'd love to put our name on things too, or we'd like to donate for a great cause like this as well. Is that, galleries do this all the time. Different galleries and different rooms in institutions are named after donors. Is that necessary even, or to raise money for the project at all, to call the stage something that somebody has donated significant funds for?
Yeah, perhaps. I don't want to call it the Mill and Blodell stage though, or something.
No, fair enough.
But yeah, no, I get it. But Scott, a lot of this is already paid for with that grant.
Yeah, right.
We don't need to raise any money.
No problem. I just,
yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. It would be better that
Yeah.
way for sure. But,
Right.
there's certainly desire out there in the community for naming rights. I think that's the fundraising term, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the community center has lots of opportunities to name a room.
There you go.
we could save those generous donations for those for that space.
Yeah,
That looks
Scott,
fantastic.
you can refer those people to me. I'll talk to them about
Okay.
the opportunities.
Over to you, Gillian.
Yeah. Anyway,
Perfect.
that's my thing.
Yeah, it looks great, Jami. Thank you so much. That's exciting. Yeah.
It
Good
is
renderings
exciting.
too.
Jami, Maureen here. Do you have a picture of the back of the building that you shared with the ADP?
Yes. That's the back.
Oh, wow.
So that's the entry into the library from the backside. So the annex side. The shed that you see there on the left are actually where those three red sheds are right now. So they'll be removed. That shed will be built, and it will be really more functional space for the library and the hearth. We need some storage space. And then if you look at the next picture, because of the way we were building that, we thought, well, why don't we just extend the roof out and create this public space with a concrete, floor, and use that with for workshops, more programmable workshops. So specifically planned, workshops, and then that goes into the green space. And then let me look and see. This is the full design. When you see the grassy, so you can see the shed here, the new shed and outdoor space. This grassy area will be all planted, so it's be quite a sort of a cozy corner with benches, a bit of a block here to block the parking lot. So it doesn't look like it's, when you walk down this path, it's not like a alleyway straight to the parking lot. It'll be more like the alleyway to an oasis. So all this will be planted as well. So that's kind of what the backside will look like.
Thank you. That's terrific. I really like where this has gone.
Good. I'm glad. I'm very glad. We're pretty excited about it. And so now we go to council for final approval, and then we start going.
All right.
Be exciting. Yes. Yeah, I think, see, that's how ugly it looks right now. It will not look that ugly when we're done.
Oh, that'll be fantastic. Excellent.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Jami. Right on.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, next on our list is the work plan budget discussion. Oh, my name is on that. Why is my name on that?
So what we've done with other committees is I've just done a share screen of the Word doc of the 2021 work plan, and we can go through and delete what's done, possibly add ideas for 2022.
Okay,
And
sure. How are we doing
that
for
makes
time?
sense. Not very well, I don't think.
No, we're not actually.
Prefer.
Is that possible?
Sure. Do you want to schedule the next meeting now?
Let's do that. Yeah, let's put that on the top of the list for next meeting, and then we can move into, I'm sure, more lock block wall discussion for dates on that.
Okay, so today is October 28th. My calendar's in February. So end of November, okay? People like 4 o'clock, is that correct?
4 o'clock is good for me. Seemed that we had everybody here.
Which day? The 25th?
I can, no, I've got finance on the 25th, maybe the Wednesday, the 24th.
I'd much prefer the following week if possible.
Okay. The Thursday then? Thursday, oh, yeah, Thursday, December 2nd at 4 o'clock.
I can do that.
Works for me.
That works for me as well, actually.
Good for me too.
December 2nd at 4 p.m. Lots to do the report back on the panels, work on the work plan.
Okay, sorry, on the 2nd, yes? Yep. Okay. Excellent. Great. Thank you. Well, that's about it. I think everybody's probably feeling a little peckish and ready for dinner. Thank you all so much again. We got a lot of decisions that are not easy to actually get settled. So appreciate it.
Scott,
oh yeah, sorry, Phil, go ahead.
It sounds like you've got somewhere to go. Is that why we're wrapping up and skipping that bit? Because I had some new business. But but I can
Oh, you
hold off
did?
on the business. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, that was, we missed you at the beginning there. Absolutely, we have time for that. I was just trying to be cognizant of people's time, not pushing too far over the hour-and-a-half mark for this, but
Yeah.
we certainly have, we have time for that. So please go ahead, yeah.
Okay, so I was approached by a colleague who is an artist and talked about asking if we would take like a donated work. And he's yes, he's an accomplished artist, but I'm prevaricating so much because I don't think we as a group want to open the doors to people saying, I have a piece of art, would you like to put it in the park? How come you put this guy's artwork there but not mine? So I think, Steph, I gave you some pictures, but maybe we don't need to share them just yet. But
Okay.
I wanted to bring this out about how we would proceed with this kind of thing, because I think this would not be a bad addition to our public art collection, but I think it might open the doors to a lot of people wondering why their creations aren't featured on our parks.
Sure, that's always a challenging one to negotiate, but we do actually have a donations policy, which we drafted
Okay.
early on. And so we, you know, that possibility exists for a
Okay.
situation just like this. But there are restrictions about how that comes to us as a committee and to the community. So I think, Steph, could
Share
you?
these pictures by email, Philip, with the group and the donations policy?
I can't hear you, Steph. I'm sorry.
Can I share the photos you sent me by email?
I sent you an email with the photos, but maybe I should. I'm sorry, your audio is cutting out on my end here.
Yeah, mine as well.
I think what Steph was saying was, should she circulate the photos to us by email?
Yes, that's perfect. And yes, I'm sure I've seen that donations policy, but I have forgotten it. So yeah, it would be lovely to see that as well. Thank you, Steph.
Yeah, please send that along. I'm disappointed, Phil, that you don't keep all of that top of mind, but at the same time, it exists, so let's get it. Steph, if you want to send that along as well, our donations policy, and that'll be a very good guideline. That's the purpose of them. So awesome. That's exciting. Actually, we have talked about this in the past. There was that potential for a library piece that was early on in our discussions. So yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I felt that was different because that was somebody donating someone else's artwork. In this case, it's an artist with an artwork. And like I said, yeah, it could open the doors once people know that we do that. There's lots of creative people on Bowen of varying skills, and you know, it would become political quickly, I think. So just wanted to flag that.
Something, yeah, for sure, absolutely. I think it's a very valid concern that we would have to certainly be careful about addressing before doing anything. So yeah.
Okay, I'll look at the policy, and Steph will share the pictures, and maybe for the next meeting, I'll bring back more details.
Excellent. Thanks, Phil.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so if that does that conclude everything? Does anybody else have any last minute things that they would like to chat or bring up, or nope? Okay, good. I'm just going to move to adjourn. So first and seconded, I think we've got the hands on that. We'll do that. We have a date set for our next meeting, so I look forward to seeing you all then, if not prior, out and about. And yeah, good luck with all of the business arising tasks on our table, on our laps now. So great seeing you all. I hope everybody has a lovely evening.
Bye.
Thanks. Good night.